former Afghanistan ambassador to France and Canada, and a non-resident senior fellow at the American think tank, the Atlantic Council. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Omar. Your reaction then to that $7 billion in aid, only half going to humanitarian causes for Afghans. Is that enough?
Well, it's not a question of whether it's enough. It's the question of whether this is the right approach, if this is the right process. The Treasury Department calls this a sort of multi-step approach, dividing the money in half. There's still another $2 billion that is unaccounted for that may be residing in European banks. So we do not know what will happen to that. But out of the $7 billion, yes, of course, money going for humanitarian purposes is always good, especially now that Afghanistan needs it more than at any other time. But at the same time, there are a lot of questions as to whether this money, which belongs to the Central Bank of Afghanistan, and has really nothing to do with expenditures, whether in Afghanistan or outside, has to be used in this manner. And then the other half going toward a fund that will be held on hold until the courts in the United States decide what to do with the claims that the families of the victims of 9/11 have put forth. I think that this is going to raise a lot of questions in Afghanistan and as well as in the United States and worldwide as to how to deal with the Afghanistan problem.
How confident are you that some of that $3.5 billion will not end up in the hands of the Taliban?
Well, the Americans have made it quite clear that none of this money is going to go through the Taliban or through any institutions that are run by the Taliban. So I'm not really worried about that aspect. Obviously, the Taliban are in control of Afghanistan, and the Taliban run those institutions, and the Taliban need to help the United Nations and other organizations on the ground and facilitate distribution of aid to the Afghan people to some extent. But I don't think that they are going to have access, as been predicted, to this money. It's just a question of whether this particular money that belongs to the Central Bank of Afghanistan, which was the reserve, financial monetary reserve of the country, should be split in this manner. It's a question of also sovereignty, Afghan sovereignty of this money, over this money, and whether it's a U.S. decision is the right decision to decide on what to do with this money.
Okay, we thank you very much for your thoughts. That's Omar Samad there, the former Afghanistan ambassador to France and Canada.